Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
And this is the comic book review show where we take books from the past week and then recap and review them and let you know what we thought about them. And then, for an added bonus, we recommend books that come out this week that we think you should pick up. So we're going to talk about a bunch of books. A bunch of books came out this week, a bunch of much anticipated titles.
Yes.
So we should probably not even screw around and just waste time, doing the pleasantries. I will remind you that we are using the super chats to keep the lights on here at the studio, and that way you can interact with us here on the show. I will mention that there is a new episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is out right now, which you can watch either after the show or tomorrow, as long as you check it out and add it to the list. Your watch later list, that is.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it. So we should jump into the most anticipated book, probably of the past month or so.
Sure.
Let's jump into. I'm just gonna get the picture ready to go here.
Okay, I'm ready.
It is Batman the Max, number 3, which of course is made by Sam Keith. This is probably on your pull list. You've almost certainly read it already.
I didn't.
You're a huge fan of this series, of course, and there's no reason not to be. The art is on point. The story is incredible. It's one of the best crossovers of the last 25 years. And when I say that, I mean the best crossover between a DC property and an independent comic book that has not been published in about 20 years.
So hang on, just I want to clarify. I think for myself and probably for the chat, you're not being sarcastic, right?
I mean, no,
I'm having a really hard time. I'm like, I
am very much being sarcastic. This series is like, if you like the Max, or you have a morbid curiosity about it, then I guess you might as well pick up a book that stars him, since it's going to be the first and last time you can get a new Max book, probably ever again.
All right.
It is kind of fun, but
it's kind of fun.
Yes.
Sal Crivelli, 2018.
That's right. You can put that on the trade paperback, by the way. Kind of fun. Batman the Max is a story in which Sam Keith, the creator of the Max, if you're not familiar with the Max, by the way, go watch our back issues on it. We talk about the phenomenon that was the Max, the maybe 8-month-long phenomenon that was the Max. But the Max was a independent comic that was originally put out by Image Comics. It was a second wave of Image characters,
Right.
After Spawn and Savage Dragon, and it was made by comic artist and writer Sam Keith, who used it as an exploration of like mental issues and analyses, and it was kind of fun, very cerebral, kind of like armchair freshman philosophy theology kind of thing.
Sure.
This is just a crossover where the Max and Batman team up. There's a wayward doctor who's messing around with the inmates at Arkham, and the Joker and Mr. Gunn, who was the villain / main character of the Max, have screwed up the Outback. What's the Outback? It's an imaginary plane of existence where you go to like heal from trauma, kind of. Batman finds his Outback in this issue.
Does he?
Yeah, the Max basically encouraged them to go there, and the whole like latter half of the book is seeing Batman explore the concept of the Outback. He's way more on board for the adventure that's going on in the Max, Batman the Max, than any usual crossover he's on.
Right.
That has probably everything to do with the fact that Sam Keith is making it. But it's kind of cute to see Batman kind of being like, let's find out what's going on. We see a lot of like
detect things.
Yeah, we see a lot of like the kind of fun creatures that are born in the Outback that are actually reflections of what's going on in the real world. Batman and Julie are reunited finally. They reference the fact this must take place after the series, which doesn't make any sense, but let's pretend like it does. So the main characters that you expect to see in a Max book, the Max, Julie, Mr. Gunn, all in here. But Max and Julie are reunited, and they basically just fall back into their old ways, their old habits. Max is, inward and, self-contained, and, he's reticent to change, and Julie is trying to, like, break him out of his shell. And he basically flashes between his apartment with Julie and the Outback with Batman.
Sure.
Basically, Julie gives Max a cell phone, and he breaks it, and then Batman explores his Outback. That's what happens.
Right. Which just looks way darker and less colorful.
I love it. It's Sam Keith being like, okay, let's take this seriously a little bit. And it's pretty good. I really dig it.
That's great.
The series is silly and weird, and like if you don't care about that kind of thing, if you don't know who the Max is, you're not going to read this book.
Right.
I recommend it only because it's kind of cute and fun, and it's neat that there's a Max book at all, much less that there's a crossover with Batman. So take that as you will. But that's all I have to say about that.
That's great.
It's just kind of funny.
Okay.
By the way, Emperos Venetians says, hi from the UK. Finally got to tune in live, and I'm totally not listening to you guys while I'm supposed to be working the night shift. Well, good to know, because otherwise that would be probably in violation of something. But I'm happy to hear that you're not doing that. But even if you were, kudos to you. But you guys are awesome, and I couldn't resist. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for watching. So, yeah, Tiffany, you read a number of books as well. I think we should jump into at least one of them. We should alternate a little bit. So
should we stay DC?
Why not? Yeah,
okay.
I guess that works for me.
So, let me actually get it up so that I have the proper information here.
That's fair. Yeah.
Oh my God, where are the credits pages?
It's at the end.
Books?
DC always puts them at the end.
All right.
Because Marvel doesn't. Get it?
Come on.
That's what they do.
All right, yep, there it is. The Martian Manhunter #1 came out this week, written by Steve Orlando with art by Riley Rossmo.
Yeah. This is a highly anticipated series, by the way. People have been waiting for a Martian Manhunter book for a long time. Since the last one.
Right.
And the one before that.
Yeah.
And the one before that.
Yeah, they don't really seem to know what to do with Jean outside of him being on or a part of a team. This book has not proven to me that they still know what to do with him.
No, I'm not surprised.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying right now the first issue felt like it kind of missed the mark, and it was trying to do one too many things all at the same time, and so like it just kind of left this sort of muddied storyline. Now, given like some more time, that could clear up. You also have to be prepared for very stylized art.
It certainly seems that way.
Like extremely stylized art, and so if you're looking for something that looks more like, you know, like your standard comic book, or some of the art that Jean has recently had the opportunity to be a part of in Justice League, you're not going to get that here.
No.
It's actually like weird because like, and I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or what, because there are a lot of like, you know, gory, violent sequences in this, or a few scenes here and there, and the art is a weird juxtaposition with it, where again, like I don't know if it's an intentional thing or if it's just they liked the artist for the other stuff, and then for this it was
like, but it would also, you needed to get the gore in there too.
Yeah, so I'm really
Rossmo did the Batman Who Laughs during Dark Knight Metal. Or he did one of those stories.
Did he really?
And it was pretty like dark and scary, but
this is I don't know. This is just not coming across for me. In this though, we see a return of Jean's alter ego, John Jones, detective.
Yes.
And I'm not entirely certain because I honestly didn't. I read the book and that was it. I didn't have a chance to actually do any of the additional research around it to know when this is taking place.
Right. Yeah, is this during Scott Snyder's kind of like revitalization of Jean as a mentor for the team?
Right, because like he'd be really busy otherwise.
Yeah.
And like part of this is like a detective story, and then part of it is like there's another mystery going. There's so many like mysteries going on that like I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it where like, you know, what was going on the Martian homeworld is kind of echoing what's going on here, and like he's supposed to be flashing back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But like neither of them are super well written right now. So for me it was just kind of like, yeah, right, I get it, you know, all right, cool, whatever, who cares,
right?
On top of that, a lot of the dialogue for me is just kind of like, I don't know, like over the top, especially for his detective partner, like, or his partner when he's a detective, just not great. And so like it really takes me out of the scene. If you just unclick that, you can balance it. Okay. But the other thing I had an issue with was by the end of this, and like I think they're just doing something, there isn't really any character I am a fan of in this.
What, not even John?
No. Because they like, and like I don't know where they're going with this, but as of right now, like, and I have enjoyed books that have unlikable characters.
Right.
Absolutely enjoyed books that have unlikable characters. He, like, in this, they're showing that, like, on Martian Homeworld back in the day, he was a manhunter. He's essentially a cop. He's not a good person, or Martian. Like, he's taking bribes. He's doing this. Like, and he's keeping this all like locked away because like the idea is that like each Martian has a part of their like minds that they keep locked away, that's personal area. But like when you're like with somebody, you tend to let them in.
Yeah.
And he's not letting his wife in, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't really care about
your relationship that's been
I
long
do,
dead.
but like not in the way that this is written. Like he's got a kid and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they have like their social forms and blah 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 blah. It's just kind of like setting some stuff up. This didn't set it up enough for me, and it's almost not enough for me to even pick up the next one, except that I like Martian Manhunter, and so like I don't want to abandon this series just yet. So I feel like I'm going to at least give it another shot, but I don't know if this is a recommend for me.
Yeah.
Only because of just how kind of like overall just meh this issue was.
You're not alone. I've heard a lot of mixed feelings about the Martian Manhunter series.
Oh, okay.
And most people are kind of underwhelmed by it.
I was
Seems to be the
very
prevailing.
underwhelmed. I thought this was a really great opportunity to, and like, you don't have to go super dark and gritty, but like,
No.
To give, I mean, like, the idea of like Jean being like a detective's kind of interesting. I know he's obviously done this before. Jean in theory is meant to be like similar, not on par, but like similar to Superman in strength and power and all this stuff, except for the whole fire thing, which is kind of like Superman's magic thing.
Yeah.
But like to then thrust him into this world of Batman, of like solving a crime and trying to do whatever, like that's kind of cool. And it just, that wasn't there, and I don't know if that's just my own expectations that ruined it. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I gotta say, I'm not 100% on board yet.
Fair
but
enough.
I'll give it another shot.
There you go. All right, that's all we can ask.
Yeah.
Sorcerer Extreme, stoked for Zdarsky's Daredevil. Thanks for all you do. If you haven't already watched it, Zdarsky released a little video where he like asks people to check it out. He's like, I know that money's tight, but like you might have to drop a book in order to pick up my book, and if you do, Batman's not very good right now.
Did he say that?
Pretty much. But he's making a joke at like the expense. He's making a joke about how like if you're disappointed that Batman isn't married, maybe now is the time to drop off Batman, pick up Daredevil. I promise by issue like 3 he'll be married like 6 times. I'm like, that's funny. You're good.
He's great. Also, that whole how to draw, because he's done that how to draw series,
Yes.
like those 1 pages, and the Daredevil one. I
great.
loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
If you haven't had a chance to go, I'm sure you've seen it, but if you haven't for some reason, go look it up.
And David22 live action Max. Yes, no, or maybe who plays the Max? No, it would never work. If it did, he'd have to be CG, because there's no way you can make it work. I've seen like a really good creature effects makeup of the Max, and it really sucks. Like they did a really good job, and it just couldn't translate.
They could mocap it.
They'd be fine. Like if you did
Like-
some kind of like weird like hodgepodge of like animation plus CG on a person,
Yeah.
you could make that
That'd
really
be kind
cool.
of interesting, especially because you could leave the real world real.
Yes.
And then when you go into the outback,
It's like What Dreams May Come or something.
or it's
crazy.
like a combo of like
Cartoon.
animation and like CG and like reality.
Yeah,
in a way.
I think that'd be dope. And my pitch is Paul Giamatti as the Max.
Really.
Why not?
Okay. Well, in my case, then like it would have to be someone like either like Doug Jones, not necessarily doing the voice.
No, he couldn't do it.
But
He needs to be huge. He's got to be a big burly person.
know,
I mean,
but
like I know the CG is
if
there,
you're
but
mocapping it, you're fine.
Yeah.
Or what's his face? Who's in everything? Gollum.
Andy Serkis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just Gollum. I don't.
No, it's true. Okay,
Sorry.
so I'm tossing out Marvel Knights number 3.
Let's do it.
This is the 20th anniversary of Marvel Knights. The book, the book / imprint that put Marvel back on the map. Donny Cates spearheaded this whole initiative and then passed it off to Tinny Howard, who wrote this particular issue, and it shows because it's not very good.
Really? Because you were really enjoying this.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. In issue 2, it was a recap, kind of like, here's where they are and here's how they got here. I think we should start our stories where they begin and not when they get most interesting. So, like, maybe they shouldn't have, like, hurried to get Elektra and Punisher and the Hulk and Daredevil on a street corner, like, at the end of the first issue, and then needed to catch up to that, because they do the exact same thing in this issue, where, like, all those characters are just standing there being like, is Karen real? And then let's go back. Let's find out more about how we got here.
Okay.
Nothing happens. Frank meets up with a couple of characters who he would never interact with, and that's like kind of the fun, but it's also kind of like, but he's in an alternate reality, and Frank doesn't even know who he is, so it's a lot of bullshit. We find out that Frank is, in addition to being a New York City cop, he's also with a woman, and it's not Maria, nor does he have children. It's somebody named Gina, who's like another cop, and it's just basically like, this is what your life could be like, Frank, if you just stopped it for a minute and just chilled out.
I mean, not now.
No, but even
the damage is kind of done.
Yeah, a little bit. But it was very boring, and it was not terribly interesting, and then we ended up back where we started. Also, if you think that Loki is a really cool character, and you haven't gotten enough of him because he was the main antagonist of the new Avengers series, he's the main antagonist / protagonist of Infinity Wars, then how about Loki again? Because Loki's again in this series, and Loki also is aware that he's Loki, and he's manipulating it. Enough with the Loki. I get that he's like your strongest MCU character, but how about getting some good, cool villains in your movies so that the comics can copy you and then put them in the comics again?
Right.
Everybody loves Kingpin. Hey, D'Onofrio's not working anymore. Why not just make him the Kingpin in the movies? Because the movies and the TV people don't get along, and that's why it's stupid. Anyway, Marvel Knights 3 is a pass. Don't waste your time. It's not worth it. If you know what happened in the last issue, you can just pick up number 4 without any problem whatsoever.
Really?
I really liked it.
That's a shame.
I really like the idea behind it. I can't believe that Kate's passed the buck to somebody else to write the script.
Well, maybe he's busy doing
He's very
something
busy,
else.
but like, don't take a job if you're too busy to do it. But like, so it's fine. It's a neat idea. It clearly has no bearing on the rest of the series. It's too bad because Marvel Knights should come back and it should be important, and it's just not. So don't waste your time.
Woo. Woo!
There you have it. By the way, jumping into the super chats before we move on to the next book.
Sure.
Algie Try, I have nothing clever to say, so here's some money. ComicPOP forever.
Well, thank you so very much for that.
Thanks, man. And Dvid22, back issues Marvel The End. Will you do it in the future? Probably. I don't know if it's collected, but I do know that I have like some of the issues. I have like random issues.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have like 2 and 4 and 5 or something. I don't remember. I don't have them all.
Sounds like you've put in like we're in a game and I need a code and like I have to follow what issues you have and I'm like, it's 2, 5,
right?
7.
Yeah, that's exactly
That sucks.
Silver Cricket decided to jump in and review the books himself. West Coast Avengers is great, so Transformers is versus Star Trek is good, and Infinity Warps 2 is just woof. So there you have it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into an indie because I actually have 2 indie books this week. Here's what's funny. Last week, Image had, like, nothing. Not last week. I should say the week before that. But this past Wednesday, there was, like, a ridiculous amount of Image books that came out, so I had to pick and choose everybody. Even my wallet gets hurt occasionally. So I had one I wanted to get, and then one people kept asking me to talk about, and so that's the one I'm going to talk about. Hold on to your pants, everybody, because
You're about to fill them with...
I'm not sure you're going to be pleased with my review of this. I read Prodigy, #1 this week by Mark Miller and Ralph Albuquerque. Last time I read a Mark Miller book was Reborn. I had a great time with that. Again, fantasy, a little more up my alley, right? This book has much more of a, like, I don't want to call it science fiction, science fantasy sort of feel to it. We're talking multi-dimensions. We're talking main character who is something of a savant. He's a prodigy in a sense, like incredibly intelligent, like, above and beyond, like can watch movies to learn how to fight, does that, that kind of thing, right?
Cool.
The idea behind this is we just, like, this whole issue is just getting a feel for the world that we live in and for the character himself and, like, just kind of what he does. You just see a lot of him flaunting his intelligence, his intellect. I mean, decidedly, understandably so. He can do, like crazy stunts. Like, people request him to do that. He hasn't slept in like 30 days or whatever because he doesn't need to. It's that kind of thing, right? Like, doesn't want to do paperwork, just wants to, like, he figured out how to, a compound of some sort to keep food fresh for like a century, and like essentially he can solve all the world's problems, and by the end of it, like, there's like this crazy thing that happens where these like cars like randomly like appear, like displacing people in a sense, and like they're makes and models of cars that nobody's ever heard of with license plates from states no one's ever heard of.
Okay.
And inside the trunk are like dead animals, and then like there's like this other crazy ship that shows up, and like the people, or the government who has it, which I think is ours, but they're in Australia, thinks it's from outer space, and he's like, no, it's from another dimension, and clearly this is their test, and blah, 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 blah. Like something else will come. My problem with this first issue, honestly, is the overwhelming lack of conflict. And so, like, for me, it ended up just kind of being, like, I was just waiting for the, like...
For the plot to develop,
for
or for the
honestly,
conflict to come in?
And, like,
challenge this main character.
Yeah, and, like, even when he discovers all of this and, like, you know, learns about where the story is essentially going, because of his incredible intelligence and because of the fact that he, you know, can really handle anything, right now it feels like, okay, who cares?
Right.
Like,
well, if he can solve every problem, then what is the problem?
Yeah.
Why am I following his adventure?
So, like, I think this issue ended a little too early, and, like, clearly in the next issue, hopefully we're going to develop, because I have faith in Mark Millar. He kind of knows what he's doing, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it depends on what he's writing, but yeah.
I was going to say, he's written a few stories before, and he knows how stories should be put together and how, like, they should flow, and this was missing something for me to, like, really hook me, or, like, this guy has all the answers.
Right.
I'm cool. Like
okay, good
no matter
for
what
you,
you
man.
throw at him, like, because there wasn't that last page of, like,
I don't know what to do.
Which is, like, an unfortunate thing when you're putting out a first issue, because now you're selling this on the fact that you hope that people just enjoy the character or make the assumption, like I am, that, like, clearly this is going someplace else, or you're selling it on Miller's name, which I'm just kind of like, that's a shame, because you shouldn't sell it on your name, man. You should sell it on the weight of the story, and for me, this just didn't capture me.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it's a bad story, and it doesn't mean it's not going to turn into something phenomenal. It's just this first issue was just lacking a key component for me.
Yeah,
so
to hook you. The art looks really good, though.
The art, oh my God, Raphael Albuquerque is phenomenal. I first saw his art in American Vampire.
Right.
Just a spectacular artist. Really knows how to capture quiet scenes, but also, like, crazy intense action sequences. Has a real way with, like, facial expressions and, like, just capturing, like, the little tics that people have, and, like, just this book was a delight to look at, let's be honest. And I'll give it another shot, but, like, this issue just didn't grab me.
But will you watch the Netflix series? It's coming.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, no, I know. I hear you. And, like, I see some people in the chat talking about how, like, all this stuff has been successful. Just because it's been successful doesn't mean I like it or that it's necessarily good. Lots of things are successful that aren't great.
That's very true. How many seasons of Walking Dead?
Oh, right. No, I'm just saying, like, again, I'm not saying this book is bad. I'm just saying I'm kind of disappointed in the flow of this first issue.
Right.
So, there you go.
Geek Assault. I dig your channel and respect the grid. Y'all deserve way more subs. Thank you very much. I can't disagree with you. Here's a little appreciation. Peace and have a blessed day. Well, you too.
Oh, thank you so very much.
Geek Assault. It's almost one of our channel name suggestions.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Ethan.
Kevin Simmons, thanks for always keeping your channel to comics. That's what we do. I like your guys for staying above the political and e-drama fray. Me too.
Thanks. We strive for that.
Yes, yes. It would be easy to get the clicks and complain about something in a stupid way, but why do that? So, plus I don't have the tongue for it.
There you go.
So, let's jump into the next book. Okay, so I guess we could talk about this one.
Yeah, I didn't read this, so go for it. I wanted to, I just didn't get the opportunity to.
Much anticipated. A lot of people couldn't wait for this series, and of course it was delayed heavily because Jeff Johns is very busy, but Shazam!
You didn't say it.
I just said Shazam.
Shazam!
It's here, #1 from Jeff Johns and somebody named Eaglesham. Eaglesham.
Is he one?
No.
Secretly, it's a hawk.
The art's really good. It's very evocative of Dale Eaglesham. It's very evocative of I want to say like a Gary Frank meets a Jason Fabok, like that kind of style,
I can
where
see
it's
that.
like grounded but fantastic and heavy detail. Basically, we meet the entire Shazam family. They go on a little like field trip. It's the best kind of like sell Shazam, and you gotta work in the Shazam family as well. You can't just make it be about Billy Batson. You gotta be about the family.
Right.
Billy Batson, of course, an orphan, and a bunch of other orphans. They live together and shared a little bit of that power with them, and they all have their own Shazam abilities, and they're all basically like different versions of Shazam. It's like if you've ever played the Superman arcade game from the 80s. If you're Superman, there's a multiplayer option, but you don't get to be Martian Manhunter or something. You get to be like Superman, but like with a different color scheme. That's basically what these guys are. But they all have different power sets, and some can talk to machines and whatnot. It's all very Ninja Turtles.
One of them can talk to fish. Oh wait,
right.
no.
Oh no, let's not do that. But yeah. So anyway, they go on a field trip. There's gonna be a heist. Shazam and the Shazam family reveal themselves and like knock the crap out of the bad guys.
They really are color coded, except for Mary.
But it's a cute little story, and you get this. It's very like full of life and youthful exuberance and whatnot.
Sure.
You get a real feel for like who these characters are. Of course, Jeff Johns, dude, knows how to like sell the premise of a story and give you kind of like the first 10 minutes of a movie in a comic book.
Right.
Which is really nice, and it's a little fun, and like basically the Shazam family is kind of celebrating being back in comics, but like in a kind of a meta way.
Okay.
And then the story like kind of like wraps up with them discovering a map to another place that they want to investigate, and there's an implication that like the ending's kind of cute and fun, but also like confusing. Like clearly, like Shazam shows up at the end, but claiming to be Billy's natural father. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe it is his father and just looks like Shazam, and it's something like that. But there's a whole thing. It's a mystery. Mysteries abound with Shazam. I've never been a Shazam fan. I don't care for the character. I never liked the like the origins of the character. You know, Shazam comes from like he's very magic based, which I'm not very into.
Right.
You know, he's a ripoff of Superman in terms of his origins. DC acquires him just because they don't want him to be competing with him because he outsold Superman back in the day.
Right.
But you know, I like him better as a plot device than I like him as a character.
Right. They could also be attempting to do something really intelligent here, where they're like stacking their deck so that when the Shazam movie comes out.
Oh no, that's exactly.
But
what
it's not just like it's not like oh my gosh, like because it's coming out next week or something. Like they're like no. That way, if they go afterwards, there's actually a lot of books they can purchase.
Yeah, you could pick up the first volume of the new series, that kind of thing. It's a fun series that isn't for me, but I recognize the benefits of it. So I'm going to recommend it because I think that there are a lot of people who've been looking forward to a Shazam book for a long time.
Right.
I've never been looking forward to a Shazam book. So when you give it to me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to read it and I'm going to like judge it. And it's like, this looks like a lot of fun. I don't care about any of these characters or what their struggle is or what their adventures are. And that's going to be like kind of like the uphill battle for me is the movie. At the very least, they're not going to do probably the Shazam family. It'll just be focused on one. Yeah. And it looks like a lot of fun. The trailer, anyway, does. So I'm excited for that. But like at the same time, again, at the end of the day, when it comes to like the character, it's a lot of work. And ultimately, like the thing that people like about that character is the thing that I have a problem with. So if they were to change it to make it something that I would enjoy, they would. Yeah. All Shazam fans wouldn't enjoy it. So like, right. So for that, I'll say check out the book. I think it's really fun. The art's really good. I never heard of Eaglesham, so I was excited to see his work, and I think he's got a lot of strengths. And I'm looking forward to seeing their work in other books. Eaglesham. I'm sure it's pronounced another way.
Yeah, I have no doubt. I think there's couple.
There's quite a few actually.
Oh, wow.
The Red Samurai. What do you guys think about Mark Millar's Miller World and all the upcoming Netflix movies and TV shows? Have you liked all the previous adaptations? Also, can't wait for Michael B. Jordan to play Prodigy. Is that I don't know if Michael B. Jordan is playing Prodigy.
I don't know. Here's the thing. Like, I wish instead of like companies just purchasing up a lot of properties just to make them, that out of them they selected the ones that were best and most suited for the jump from like one media to the other, because not everything works in that way, where it's just like if you have to rewrite the plot so much to get to there, like I don't know, like there is no point in purchasing that necessarily.
No.
Then I think there are a lot of Miller properties that will be excellent on Netflix, and like with Prodigy, like again, like when the story is all said and done, maybe it will, like be stronger. And then, hey, look, I like Michael B. Jordan, so I'm kind of happy to see him in anything. So,
yeah, totally.
That's fine. He should come here.
Oh yeah, we'd love to see him on Back Issues. You couldn't have said it better myself. So yeah, that's how I feel as well. Silver Cricket. I know this is going to sound insane, but go check out Go-Bats by Tom Scully. It's amazing. Second issue comes out at the end of the month. Yeah, why not?
There's like a sentence I never thought I would ever hear anybody say.
Yeah, check out Go-Bots.
Like, hey, there you go.
Why not?
Go-Bots.
Scoro, I thought the Shazam backup was really sweet. The art felt like a mix between webcomic and anime. I agree. Again, I didn't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Just more.
Sure. It's fine.
Chris Back, love your channel. Thank you very much, Chris. Congrats on the year of marriage. Hey, yeah, that's right. Tiffany and I just celebrated 1 year yesterday, and we had a great time.
We did. Thank you.
And thank you so much for all the well wishes and kindness.
Yeah, you guys were incredible.
If you could only one trade from Marvel and DC, what would it be? New or old? If we could only what? Have, write, delete.
We said new or old, so I'm gonna say have.
Read, I'm gonna say read, and I guess I would go with like Kingdom Come and like
That's a good one.
you know,
It's a really good
just
one.
maybe Secret Wars, the new one, just to pour over it, because like those books have a lot of like depth.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the Doom Patrol Omnibus. I want a lot to hang on to.
That's fair. And Danielle in the super chats, Tiffany, what kind of tea are you drinking?
It's a special edition because it's the holidays. It's chocolate mint.
Ooh.
It's herbal and it's so no like crazy caffeine going on here, but it's like dessert tea.
Well, that sounds nice.
Let's smell it.
It's nice.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but you can smell the tea also. Like you can smell those things, but also that it is tea.
Well, thank you for asking about my tea.
Yeah. What else did you read?
Oh, Doctor Strange came out this week. As you know,
you've been really not a big fan of this
No,
series.
it's not that I'm not a big fan, because here's the thing. I definitely didn't like Hopeless more than I didn't like what Wade is doing. But
Right.
again, Hopeless got a really unfair shake, and let's not even get into that.
Yeah.
But Mark Waid has been, like, fine. Like, he's been fine. It's not like anything where I'm just like, wow. Like, I mean, I would, if someone was looking for more Doctor Strange content, I wouldn't have a problem being like, you could check out the Wade run. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be fine there. It's not like, it's not mind-blowing for me. But this issue is $3.99 technically. It's issue 9, but it's also issue legacy number 399. So next time around, we're getting issue 400. We just ended an arc, the last issue. So obviously, we are going to be starting a new arc with issue 400.
Right.
So this is literally a stopgap. We need something to
no.
go here and kind of set up what's coming. This is kind of, it's a charming story in a sense. It's one of those stories where they're just setting up some interesting character, like, moments for Strange and character development in a sense.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of choice pages from this series, or from this issue.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. The idea is like, I mean, I read it. I didn't see anything online.
No.
The idea is really just about Strange and his attachment to living in the village and living on Bleecker Street.
Right.
And how, like, 10 years ago, a development company came through and was trying to buy up everything. Strange had been away, like, in the midst of battle, comes back, and, like, a local, like, shop owner is complaining about all of this, and he's like, wait, what now? And he's like, oh yeah, you were away, but they don't really know what he does. And so inevitably, like the guy who, like, kind of runs the company shows up to Strange. Strange invites him in, and, like, everything, it's like an MC Escher painting, of course.
Yes.
And, like, he takes him through the house basically, and he threatens him in a way where he's just like, obviously you don't want this home. What good is it to you? So you can't build here.
Right.
Because without my house, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So he kicks him out. And then the next time we see them, it's like, I don't know, like 5 years ago. And we see Strange watching someone's kids, which I think is interesting because, like, we've staunchly seen Strange not be attached in that sense. So, like, Wade is trying to retcon that he can watch children. And, like, literally his idea of watching children is, like, he conjures, like a unicorn and, like, gives the kids, like, powers to be able to, like, move blocks around and stuff like that. So, like, that's his idea of watching the kids. But again, people talking about how, like, like the company who originally was going to buy out the place got bought out themselves, and now they're hiring, like, thugs to come around, and, like, they're, like, one of the, like, stores ends up blowing up and stuff that. And Strange goes in and saves the shop owner, and actually ends up reforming the bomb that was used, and it's like classic Dynamite. I'm like, really? But from that, he's able to ascertain fingerprints, and he has the bomb, and he's going to give it to the police, like. And so he ruins that plan for them. He threatens them as well with that.
Yeah.
That guy gets arrested, right? The guy who's behind all of that. Then it's 2 years ago, and this time around the attack is on Strange himself. They're like, I know what you're doing, and I'm going to tell the whole neighborhood, and the neighborhood's going to hate you and force you out. And then we'll come in and purchase up the land.
Right.
So he has a meeting with a lot of their closest neighbors, and the neighbors are kind of like, yeah, but everyone kind of hates you now, and, like, I don't know. And, like, a lot of them are just like, you have stood by us, you saved us, like, you've literally saved our lives, and, like, you've taken care of us, and you've helped us rebuild, and, like, all this stuff. Like, we're not going to let you do that. And he's just like, don't worry, I got this. So he goes to a meeting with all of the executives there and, like, starts threatening them because he's like, this is libel, and I'm going to sue you. And they're like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. He's like, well, I'm going to have my attorney show up. And his attorney's like a demon. And, like, he's like demon
a hulking
with
red
he's, like, red
demon.
with the horns. He's got, a mouth in his stomach as well as on his face. He's got a briefcase.
And a briefcase.
He's like, hey. And they're like, and the next thing you see is, like, a newspaper headline that just says, we were wrong. And it's Dr. Strange, like, wink. Like, yes, they
like
were.
Like a Forbes cover.
Pretty much. And then it's, like, today. And, like, this has not ended. And the guy who originally came to him to buy up the place summoned a demon to show up to like get Strange out, and like the demon's like, obviously there's like something underneath the house, and like that's why like there must be some sort of like crazy gate, and it's like where it's like the least strong between like different worlds, so I want that, I want to have that. Like the demon just kind of figures like, he's like, that must be what it is, it's fine. And Strange is like, you don't get it, I'm not protecting anything here.
Right.
Like, the reason I don't want to leave is because I like these people. And I like this neighborhood, and like a lot of like families are brought up in here, and like I think that they have every right to stay here, and I want to be here with them. And he's just like, it doesn't matter where the house is. And the door flies open, he pushes the demon out, and he's on the moon. And he's just like, if you want to develop, you can develop up here.
Oh.
And like the demon's like, he can't breathe, and it gets all cold, and the Strange leaves.
And then Nick Fury, the Unseen, is like, get off my lawn.
Yeah, exactly. He ejects him. And then we have the epilogue, which is going to be setting up or issue 400, which is like a big deal. Okay. Or at least that's how Wade is treating it.
Good. I mean, we should, right? We want to get excited for
a
centennial.
Yeah. So, in it we see Strange like passed out in his like chair, and he has a dream about meeting the Ancient One for the first time and learning from him, and then like the Ancient One, of course, becoming incorporeal and like becoming one with like the energies in the universe and all around him, right? And Strange wanting to know more from him, and he's like, you can't, you're like flesh and I'm not, so bye. And then like Strange wakes up, we're not sure necessarily, and there's like a knock at the door, and we see like these sandaled feet, and I was like, oh, it's Wong. No, it's the Ancient One. He's back, and he calls Strange Master.
Oh no.
Right? And like needs him to teach him. And I'm like,
isn't he dead?
We'll find out how he's not.
Yeah.
He's not dead. He's like, I don't know.
I trust this resurrection of the Ancient One better than Bendis's resurrection of the Ancient One.
Well, we'll see. Because, like, again, like, in this scene, it's really uncertain how much of it is a dream and how much of it is reality. But seemingly, this is the reality. And so, like, obviously, for the 400th issue, they want to do something big. And so this is the thing that they're going to do. And
That's
we'll see
cool.
where it goes.
And at least, here's the thing. Wade remembers Strange and major Strange stories.
Yeah.
So at the very least, the 400th issue won't be just like a springboard for somebody else's bullshit.
Right.
Strange. Like, I'm sure Wade will incorporate his own, but like, he's also going to be like, I want to talk about how great Doc Strange is with this issue.
Right. So we'll see.
Yeah. Kale Sounds, if you're new to comic books, where do you start with Marvel at DC? So many stories. Is there like a 101 guide somewhere on YouTube or Google? The fact is there isn't, and the reason for that, and if anybody is, they're selling you something. So like the reality is, if you want to get started with Marvel or DC, you start with a character, and the only way to start with that character is there's no wrong choices. You know, like you go with what you are attracted to, what you visually or intellectually. If you're like, I want to get a story about orphans, or I want to do a story about like a married person, or I want to do a story about a cool looking tattoo, you know, like that you can go from there, and that's where your recommendations come from.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, I think a good way to start is to examine other things that you like. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be within comics. Obviously, it could be any like show that you like, Netflix, TV, whatever, movies that you dig, books that you like to read, and from that you'll kind of like, obviously you know your taste, you know, and from that you can ask those who do read comics, like, hey, these are the things I like. Do you have any recommendations to start?
That are like that.
Yeah. And so, like, let's say you grab something for the first time, like, thinking, like, oh, okay, you know what? I like fantasy, so I'm going to try out, like, Sandman. That may not work for you because it may not be what you're looking for. That doesn't mean you don't like comics, because I think people have made that mistake before. It's like, well,
where they're like, well, I hated this one issue that everybody told me was great, so I guess I'm an idiot.
No. It's just that wasn't the fit for you. But there's so many other stories and characters out there, like, and you want to get into it, like, just try again. There's no harm in like liking something or not liking something that everyone else likes. It's absolutely okay. Yeah, absolutely okay.
Chris back. It was read or have.
Yeah, which we were right. Yay.
All right. Sorry. Are you coming to Seattle? Maybe one day. We've been to Seattle twice now.
Really
it's
Seattle.
Awesome. I love that city. So if Seattle wants us, you know, we'd be happy to go.
You guys have great donuts and that crumpet shop.
Yes. MV5357. Do you guys have a preference for floppies or digital? I prefer to buy digital when it comes to new books, but those books become old books, and then I find I have to get like either a trade or floppies. I like floppies for back issues, and I like I like digital for new things, and I like trades for the show.
Yeah.
But digital is for my regular monthly habit. Floppies are for my back issues bins.
honestly read them better as floppies and physicals, but because I work like so many of you do, digital is often easier for me to get to.
Yeah.
Because I can't always make it to a comic book store on my way home or whatever. And I don't want to miss out or be spoiled, so digital tends to be there. I have bought things like twice basically at times.
Right. Yeah.
Especially with certain books, like when Saga comes out, like if like something big was happening, I knew it was coming. That was one of those where I had to buy it digitally, and then I go out and buy the floppy. Yeah. So they're getting twice the money from me.
Because stealing comics sucks. Don't do it. David22, Doctor Strange community organizer #1.
Doctor Strange block party.
Yeah, that'd be dope. And Jordan Cooper, hey guys, sending some love from Australia. Hey, Australia.
Thank you very much.
In terms of crossover events with all their characters, who do you enjoy more, Marvel or DC at their best? I think I like Marvel events. I used to like Marvel events a lot better than DC. Lately, DC's been doing a better job with their events so far.
Okay.
Like within the past year.
Yeah.
Marvel is just like obsessed with the events, and they turn them into like a big, expensive like thing. But they used to be really fun and inclusive, and I liked them a lot. Now I'm just kind of sick of them.
Right. I think that like it really legitimately depends on the event itself and the writer and the teams. But if we have to pick one or the other, it's funny because it's like I get more excited sometimes seeing the Marvel crossovers simply because of the fact that we have seen like Justice League and like Justice League Unlimited, like I'm talking like animated shows where it's like, wow, look at all these crossovers that are happening. You know what I mean? It's like I've seen it and it's exciting and it's great, and that doesn't mean I don't like seeing it, but like with the Marvel ones, I was more starved for that content. So for me, like, it's just like one of those, I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out. Like, if you count like Justice League Dark as a crossover, then it's like, yeah, that creamed everything. So then that.
Exactly. Yeah. So getting back into the books, Justice League number 13 came out. This is a Tynion book. Okay. That's one of those alternating things because Drowned Earth just ended, and this is where they would check back in with Legion of Doom. What's going on? The fact is, like, it's a paring down of Legion of Doom. It's getting too unruly. They didn't do anything, so why not make the team smaller? We needed that big, like, oh my god, look at the biggest rogues. You got Cheetah and Grodd and Joker and Black Manta and Lex Luthor. Well, Black Manta's out, and now we're losing Joker as well.
He's got to go do other things.
It's hard to write for him.
Well, to be fair, he doesn't really strike me as a long-term team player.
He is not a team player at all, but like, and that was the thing. For them, they were like, we gotta like justify Joker being on this team, and the idea was that like Lex Luthor convinces Joker to get on the team. We see a flashback of how Lex Luthor like tricks the Joker into joining.
Sure, and it involves hot air balloons.
Well, Joker is going to enact a nefarious scheme which involves hot air balloons full of Joker toxin.
Ooh.
By the way, really quick, like lettering problem. For some reason, over the last I want to say maybe 10 years, maybe a little more, I'm not sure. They thought that it's a really good idea to give Joker his own font. And they did that a lot, especially because I remember reading an interview with Scott Snyder when he started doing, like, after Court of Owls. And he was doing his first major Joker event. He said, like, I really don't have a lot of Joker stories. I really don't want to overuse him. I'm really not going to use him very much.
Fair.
Then he used him, like, every other arc. And that was when I first started to notice, like, the Joker font.
Maybe that was him not overusing.
Either way, they started using this horrible font for the Joker to indicate the Joker, like, speaks differently than the rest of us. Or is on some different plane of existence. And they do that with, like, Venom sometimes, where it's, like, with the black speech bubble and the white text. It's a fun way to distinguish a difference between them.
Absolutely.
I don't know why you need to do it with Joker. I don't think you do. The letterer in this issue really screws it up, and it looks really stupid.
Oh, I didn't actually even notice it initially because it just looked like the standard font in all caps, but I do see there's a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, it's here's the thing. If you have bad lettering, you will notice immediately.
Right. I mean,
you shouldn't notice. If you have great lettering, you should never even notice. You just pour over the comic, you're totally fine. If you have bad lettering or not great lettering, they're all caps. Then you're gonna have a problem. I know it's funny to harp on like lettering, but this is a major book that sells like it sells at least 80 to 100,000 units a month, and those are good numbers. You shouldn't be having these like amateur problems.
Hang on, I just want to point out, I like the fact that he has a drawer that just says jokes.
Yeah, that's where he keeps the jokes. The Joker just keeps them in that one file.
Just that one. He only has enough there.
Yeah.
It's just jokes.
Right? Ultimately, Joker reveals that he's super smart and knows everything, and he's smarter than Luthor. And he basically agrees to join up with Luthor in the Legion of Doom if Luthor promises not to team up with the Batman Who Laughs. Luthor immediately teams up with the Batman Who Laughs and keeps him in like a torture room.
Why would he jump to that conclusion?
Because he already knows he's already working with him.
Oh,
and he just wants to screw with him.
Okay.
But except he's surprised. So like, why does he do that? I don't know. It's silly. Anyway, so Lex like lost Black Mantis, who's having he's having an audition to replace him. So he invites a whole bunch of like villains that weren't quite good enough to be on the Legion of Doom before, who might be on the Legion of Doom now.
Is it
like
the Riddler?
Yeah, Riddler, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, Parasite, a couple other people.
It's like Grundy?
Yeah.
Don't put him on the team.
I know. But basically, Joker finds out that Luthor's been working with the Batman Who Laughs, so he turns the table on everybody, and everyone gets Joker toxin nuts. He breaks Luthor's super secret, armor, and says, like, I have... Oh, my God. They have this horrible dick measuring contest where, like, Luthor says what he's going to do to the Joker, and then the Joker says what he's going to do to Luthor, and it just screams, like schoolyard bully moron. Like, here's a direct quote from the line. I am going to cut open your brain and make sure that every nerve ending is firing nonstop pain and agony while making sure you never go into shock. It's just the kind of, like, it's like a first idea.
Yeah.
It's like the kind of thing that, like, I know that you're trying... I need to demonstrate that that Luthor is, like, serious, and he's, like, a badass, but he's also super smart. If he says, like, I'm gonna kill you, that's not smart enough. So he's gotta, like, demonstrate just how smart he is.
Right.
But, like, I'm gonna do this very specific thing, and I'm gonna make sure that, we get it.
Right. I'm kind of surprised in that writing from Tynan, honestly.
Yeah.
I am.
I know. Then Joker basically says the same type of thing, and I don't know if it's a joke on how bad that Luthor line was, or if it's that Tynion thinks that they're both so awesome. Either way, basically Joker reveals that he had, like, a big plan to screw over Luthor at the end of his big pursuit using the doorknob of eternity and all that other bullshit. And he's like, and I was going to do that, but because you betrayed me with the Batman Who Laughs, I'm just going to not kill you, reverse the gas effect on everybody, give you the doorknob back, and then leave. So that this issue has no bearing on anything that happens, except for the fact that in the next couple of issues for Justice League, if you see the Legion of Doom, Joker's not there anymore. It's literally just a book to justify that Joker won't be in the Legion of Doom anymore. But Luthor does plan on unleashing another cool, awesome supervillain, Brainiac. Oh no.
This is the first time we've seen Brainiac
since Convergence, I guess.
No. Well, yeah, I guess Brainiac from... No, because wasn't he in...
Oh yeah, during the trees, No Justice.
No Justice.
Yes.
Yeah, he was there.
That was Brainiac 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought Brainiac was also present.
I don't even remember.
Like, yeah. No, he was, because he blew up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's going to take over. Yeah. Well, it's his whole home planet. Okay.
Yeah, but he was there, and he was going to give him the whole plan, and then Luthor blew him up.
Yeah.
Or no, Cadmus blew him up.
Right. Yeah.
Waller blew him up, I should say.
Exactly.
I'm remembering things.
Right. But it's...
Woo!
This issue is such a pass. You can skip the whole thing. The art's not great. It's like gritty for gritty's sake. You know, there's... Oh, I need to make it really cool and hyper detailed. Here's more wrinkles. More wrinkles! Everyone has wrinkles!
Right.
But either way, so stupid.
Right.
Like, who cares? Skip this, save your money, get something you want to... You know, if it's burning a hole in your pocket, try something different.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
like use it on someone else. Like, try it out. It'd be a lot of fun.
Okay.
But, yeah. It's surprising. Okay. I was very disappointed, but it was also, like... Here's the thing. It's fun to see the Joker, like, show that he's the Batman of the Legion of Doom. Mm-hmm. I could beat all of you and kill all of you. That's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
no lasting effects, nothing interesting happens, and he just like betrays. You know, it's just like okay,
Right.
whatever.
Ooh, yeah, all right, there you go. Before we move on to big books, or like other big 2 books, I should say.
Yes.
I want to talk about what the other indies I read this week. Die #1 came out this
I thought it was
week.
like die or something, but it's just
Die.
die, just one die.
There's a specific reason it's called that.
Oh.
This is written by Kieran Gillen of Wicked and Divine fame, and Stephanie Hans, who's also worked on that as well for the art. I like Stephanie Hans a lot. She also worked on some of the Angela Witch Hunter back during Secret Wars. You'll see her pop up all over the place. Very stylized work. I like that word, apparently, everybody.
Yeah, it's not inaccurate.
But it's... Look, I'll try to like just summarize this book as quickly and briefly as possible.
Right.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
This book is like Jumanji, which they admitted.
Okay.
Meets It.
Okay. Meets It. All right. Cool.
Meets like Birthright, the comic. Kind of. So like, the idea is in like 1991, there was a group of friends. One of them was turning 16. His sister was like complaining and moaning and whatever about what have you, and wanted to go with him to this party that his friend was hosting. Essentially, he's just like, instead of having a party, we'll play, like, I'll host a game.
Okay.
Right? They are RPG folk. They are pen and paper gamers, right?
Yeah.
So it goes, we meet the cast, basically. So it's this kid, his sister, this other chick, this guy, and this other dude, and then, like, this guy who's going to run it. So 6 characters, very different personalities. And the idea is that Solomon, who's running the game, found this like he came up with a game basically in a sense, and we'll find out more about it. And so they spend the time putting their characters together and all this stuff, and then they introduce each other, and then he basically gives them 1 die each. Now, those of you who played a pen and paper game, you need a lot more dice usually. You got your D20s, you got your percentile dice, your D6s. Each of them get 1, and Solomon gets the D20.
Oh.
And then basically the book is like, I can't tell you what happened next. And then it flash forwards 2 years, and like 5 of them are standing in the middle of a street. The sister's missing an arm, and like this car drives up. By the way, this is all like English, like they're British.
Okay.
Which is delightful because I get to read it in my horrible British accent. But shows up and is like, whoa, what are you doing on the road? And immediately she recognizes them as like the 6 who went missing. They've been gone for 2 years.
Okay.
And so then we jump ahead another 25 years.
Okay.
Everyone's 40 years old.
Right.
And most of them never really quite recovered. Like, you know, like they all have jobs and a lot of them have families, but like none of them can talk about what happened. And like Solomon's mom shows up to our main protagonist's home, and it's just like, I don't know why. I think his name's Ace. He's like, I don't know why you won't tell me where he is. Like, I just want to be able to bury him, basically. Right. Like, I need to let him go. I need to let my son go. And like gives him a lot of crap. And like this kid clearly just, you know, this adult man now never quite got over whatever occurred, right? And he's like, I can't tell you. One of the guys who went was able to like tell stories about it in a sense, like so he wrote these like fantasy novels and like made movies out of it, so he's super like rich and successful. So they don't really see each other though. So one evening the brother goes to meet his sister because they're pretty much the only, like, he only really hangs out with her at this point. And they're at this bar and they're just hanging out and like talking about how she's a coder and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, like, the bartender's like, oh hey, by the way, I guess you're the party. And he's like, this was delivered for you. And it's a package, and they open it up, and there's a box, and when they open the box up, there's a D20 in there and has blood on it. And, like, they freak out immediately, and they're like, where'd this come from? Who gave this to you? Like, was it his mom? Like, why? And he's just like, I don't know, the post brought it. I don't know. So they bring it outside, they're going to destroy it, and then he's like, you know what? No, the group has to decide what to do with this. So they basically all go to the guy's house who made all the money, and he's just like, I don't know what to do with this. And a lot of people are resentful, and, like, the chick is like, clearly Isabella, or Izzy, I think is her name, and she's like, clearly you orchestrated all of this. And like he's like, I didn't. I wanted to destroy it, but I realized that we need to make this as a decision, or as a group. I'm not going to make this decision because I don't know what this means. This might mean that like Solomon's still alive,
right? Or
it might not. I don't know. And so he picks up the die, and like they're holding it and what have you, and then all of a sudden it basically activates, and they all go back. And they're freaking out. They're like, I don't want to be here. What's really funny is our main character rolled a female character, I guess.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's a chick
Oh,
now
okay.
in this world. But the idea is they go back to this crazy, like, fantasy world where, like, all this crap went down. Our protagonist reverses or uses a spell to reverse, like, what happened. Because basically he cast a spell thinking it was the right thing to do that wouldn't allow them to talk about it. So they wouldn't have to deal with it.
Okay, but instead it just...
And just made it worse for them. But they were children at the time, but they thought it would be best, and so they never got to heal. So anyway, they go back there, and they run into Solomon, and he's just like, I defeated the Grandmaster, and I sent this to you, and I took his die, basically, and I'm the Grandmaster now, and you have to finish the game. And so they're trapped there. And I was like, that's kind of cool. I appreciate Gillen's ability to craft a world, obviously, in Wicked and Divine. He can handle an ensemble cast. And, you know, in light of Stranger Things 3, Season 3, like, coming out, I was kind of excited for this, because while it's not exactly that same thing, it is like that...
it's evocative of those
It is
images.
in a sense. You got the fantasy element, of course, with, like, the D&D style gaming, but again, it has, like, that kind of it feel to it.
Yeah.
Where it's like...
Yeah, where they
had a traumatic event, they all grew up.
Something happens that reminds them of the past, they all have to come back
and
together
now
as
we're
adults.
back.
Yep.
So, like, I'm excited to see where this series goes.
Yeah.
Again, if you're not a Stephanie Hans art fan, hopefully you'll give it a shot anyway.
Why wouldn't you be?
I know. I like her art a lot, but, like, some people may not be their bag. But if you're looking for something more fantasy-based, I'd give it a shot.
Nice.
Like, again, Kieran Gillen, I think he knows what he's talking about.
I think you're right. Philippe Moscardini says, thanks for mispronouncing my name. Thank you guys. Love you guys.
I'm sorry. I didn't say it, though.
Heartless Fang. So it's Tower of Babel, but with Joker's contingencies versus the Legion of Doom. It is if it were more simplistic with no B-plot. I mean, like, you could pretty much do Tower of Babel in one issue, but, like, no, he doesn't even use contingencies. He just beats them because he's just better.
Right.
It's like if Batman beat the entire Justice League with a Batarang. Like, I did that the way that I always do it.
Right.
And Billy Deli, hey, only second time watching live.
Hi.
Welcome to the second show, man. I'm at school, meant to be doing work. Well,
Do your work.
get back to work.
It's okay.
Just want to know opinions on Super Sons miniseries. The new miniseries is just as good as it was before. My excitement for it waned because of DC's obvious lack of interest in it as a property.
Right.
But it's still a good series. It holds up, and I'll tell you more about that when we get to the recommendations.
Ooh.
So, any more?
I think that's it for me, honestly. Whoops.
Well then. I guess it's time to get to the main event, ladies and gentlemen. We're jumping
Ooh.
into Doomsday Clock number 8 from Jeff Johns and Gary Frank.
All right, let's be honest, just really quickly.
Yeah.
We all know I love this cover.
Yes, despite the fact that it says nothing about the issue.
I don't
In fact, I don't even think
care.
Kitty Bubastis even, like, I think he's on the first page.
Yeah, he's on the first.
And then you
it's like
never
the first
see him again.
3 panels, and I love those panels.
Yeah, they're pretty great. There he goes.
Yay!
And that's it.
That's the end of the book for Tiffany.
Thanks
Now,
for the cover.
I read the whole thing. Hey, I don't care.
No, yeah, it's fine.
It's weird. It's like the covers almost like deal more with the issue that came before it because Baby Bubastis or Bubastis 2 or whatever you want to call her, him, it,
Her, I think. I don't even know.
was more of a MacGuffin, not a MacGuffin,
Yeah.
but like a plot device in the
Yes.
last issue.
Absolutely. Ultimately, Doomsday Clock is a theme that says don't get involved. Firestorm is the main crux of this issue.
Right.
Firestorm is like pissed that the Russians are blaming America. It's very geopolitical. It's about like how the Russians are blaming America for escalating a conflict. The Russians have unveiled their superhero team. The, of course, subplot, which no one in DC at any point anywhere else is referencing, is the idea that there's a Superman theory. All the superheroes are American. Why? Maybe there's a government conspiracy. The Russians follow suit and create their own. Firestorm shows up. He's like, no, they're not. It's not. It's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
He's a hothead, lol.
Right.
And he gets overwhelmed and attacked by like common Russian people,
Right.
and winds up turning a huge crowd into glass. He
Yes.
goes into seclusion. Superman finally gets involved after 8 issues.
Yep.
And he goes to Kahndaq because that's the superhero haven country that Black Adam runs. It's not normally, but it is in this story.
But it's not just for superhumans.
Well, no,
as
it's for
we've found
anybody,
out.
but it's
Yeah.
like Mutopia or
Yeah.
Genosha.
Sure.
But for power people and non-power people to just live in harmony. Superman assumes that he's there, being harbored, but he's not. He goes and finds Firestorm is hiding in Russia, and basically, like, Firestorm is trying desperately to undo what he's done.
Yeah, because like he says that one of his powers or like potential powers is to like transmute matter.
Yes.
In a sense, but it's never worked on organic matter, but this time it did.
Yeah. So he fails time and time again. He can't do it.
Yeah.
Superman gives him some hope, and then he is able to do it. So Superman and Firestorm go before the Russians, and they try to de-escalate the situation.
Superman shows up on his own, and he tries to de-escalate it, and
Right.
Batman is like, "This is a bad idea."
Batman calls him on the bat plane, and he's like on a special Superman frequency, and he's like, "Don't pick a side," even though like I didn't see Superman picking a side. I think it was just like
I think Batman already saw how they were going
he saw
to
where it's
spin
gonna
it.
go.
Like regardless of like Firestorm showing up and like making everything worse, I think Batman was like, You are a hopeful idiot.
Right.
You think that they're just going.
You think they're gonna take you at your word, and
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah, like this is not how to handle this right now.
Yeah.
According to Batman.
This panel makes me crazy because I love it, and I think it cuts the core of Superman as a character. The dehumanization or the demonization of any group of people is wrong.
Yeah.
I saw the internet like crap themselves over the fact like, aren't there demons in the DC universe? How stupid is Superman? And I'm like, I need you to do me a favor and go to Home Depot and get yourself one of those like things that pulls posts out of the ground so you can pry your head out of your ass, because it's so stupid. That being said, basically the whole thing blows up in his face. Firestorm finally shows up, and he's like, "Come on, I can do this. I can make it better."
Right, but it's actually the worst time he could have possibly.
Oh, he picked the
done
worst
so.
time,
like,
because like Putin tries to like shove Superman off the stage, and it's just it becomes a freaking clusterfuck.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
immediately.
Russian superheroes attack Firestorm, and the tanks roll in. They start crushing the people who are glass.
Right, because they don't believe that they can actually save them, and so immediately, like, here's what like is so funny about this, and not even funny. It's just it's actually like rather a shame.
Yeah.
Just like in the heat of the moment, like there you have Superman trying to do the right thing, and Batman is absolutely correct. It was all he should not have done this, but like Firestorm brings the kid with him that he brought back, and then they start opening fire, and there's a child there, and so Superman goes to save him, and they're like, and they try to like stop the soldiers from doing it, and they're like, they're attacking them.
Yep.
Because
it's a perfect
storm of like just
of carnage, but it's like it's the kind of thing you could immediately assume would happen.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole thing. Like it's really really cool. But of course, like we don't want to get into spoilers too much, but we will spoil. We are talking about the end of the book.
Yeah.
But so if you don't want to know, just keep your ears plugged or whatever. But like, of course, Firestorm, he freaks out. He starts like coming apart. He can't. He's seeing that he can't solve this problem.
Yeah.
He explodes in energy, but then the energy, of course. But while he's exploding in energy, Superman is like, Firestorm's freaking out, and Batman's like, it's not Firestorm.
No, he's like, the energy readings are off the chart, but then Firestorm's like, oh, I'm good.
Right.
Oh, cool. I'm okay. No, I actually somehow pulled it together. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then Batman reveals that it's not Firestorm.
Yep. And then he explodes in a Dr. Manhattanian flash of blue
white light,
which it wrecks a lot of things. It may have destroyed the Batman's plane, and it may have killed everyone in the surrounding area. We don't know.
Yeah, we're not sure.
I assume it does, because this book does not pull any punches.
Right. And like, here's what I really enjoyed about this issue is, for me, this issue really harkens back to Watchmen, and like, so like this entire time we've been dealing with Russia. Obviously that was like an allegory for the Cold War that Watchmen was dealing with, and like the arms race between our two power countries, and now obviously like that this whole Superman theory is just that.
Yeah.
And like clearly Ozymandias sees an opportunity, because like he previously said that he would fix both places. He's like, no, I can do this, it'd be great.
Yeah, but I think he's full of shit. I don't think he believes that at all.
No, well, I think that's what's so interesting about him. He's so deluded. You know what I mean? And so I'm interested to see what's actually going on with him, because this is like...
Well, and he's obviously the puppet master. The cover of the book is him using Superman and Dr. Manhattan's puppets. He's the puppet.
Yeah.
He orchestrated the entire situation.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that was Baby Boobastis.
Yeah, maybe. But
hey, can we like not kill every cat in
please
this
don't. But there's a lot of great stuff in here. Also, we see Lois Lane is being tipped off about the existence of the Justice Society. She sees an old American.
Well, she has that, and like also, doesn't she have Rorschach's journal?
I think she does.
Like from a couple of issues, or if not the last.
I know Batman had it.
Right. I thought someone else dropped it off, but maybe I'm wrong about that. It's been so long, so it's like so hard to keep things
Yeah, it's gonna read really well in trade.
It's gonna be phenomenal in trade.
But like they keep
So
alluding to this thing, this mysterious package, and it's this like this film reel from the 40s, which is of the Justice Society. She's like, who the heck is the Justice Society? And you're like, oh, okay, so like there was a Justice Society, they did exist in this continuity, but Dr. Manhattan made them go away, and that's probably gonna be the big.
So.
That's gonna be the big like. Continuity fix.
Yeah.
You're not gonna see like all the other stuff like that you theorize. The JSA will have been back, and that'll be probably it.
Right.
But it's a lot of like it's some great character building plus plot advancement, even though not a lot happens in this book.
No, it doesn't. But like I appreciated this because it seems like we're getting more to what the heart of this book is meant to be.
Yes.
Not that I don't enjoy some of the stuff with Marionette and Mime, but like I feel like
I'm really thrilled we don't see them at all.
We were so focused on that storyline. I felt like, and again, like I don't know where this is going to go, so it could all coalesce at the end into one thing where you absolutely need all that other content. But it felt like we weren't dealing enough with some of the larger overarching issues in place of these character moments.
Mm-hmm.
Although what I do like is like this issue, like. For me, I was like, oh, perhaps, and like, I probably am not like wowing anybody with this theory, but like perhaps John only stopped by here because what he saw was the potential for what happened in his world, and he wanted to see how this world's like Superman, like his allegory.
In my world, there wasn't one.
Well, he would be it. Like,
I guess
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Dr. Manhattan might see like he's just like, essentially Superman is like me, except not quite me, obviously.
How will he handle it?
Yeah, like how would he have dealt with this situation between these two countries?
Right, like
so,
he's John has orchestrated a Watchmen-esque story within the DC universe.
Yeah, like he saw like the hints of it somewhere along the lines, and maybe he pushed and nudged a couple of things so that he could see what went wrong. And like, is it the fact that John is capable of seeing into the future and the past?
Well, we know that he only can see up until a person.
Right, but he like normally like when he was dealing with that situation, like he was able to do that, and like maybe that wasn't the right, like maybe he wasn't the right person for the job in a sense. I don't know. Like it's just interesting because like I don't know if at the end of the day we're gonna see that like John is the like creator of like superhumans. Here it's almost more like he's studying everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a scientist, so like at his heart.
I think that I mean, like there's definitely. I mean, we all speculated about it early on that like maybe John created the DC universe.
Sure.
I think we're definitely not going to say that it's going to happen.
No.
Instead, he found this universe and he's studying it, like you said.
Yeah. And did you notice in this issue that Frank favors Superman looking like Christopher Reeves?
Oh yeah. Well, that's a whole over to the Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Secret Origin era. I love it.
But
and
like,
I think
there's certainly some panels in this where I'm like, that's like eerily him.
It's supposed to be. And that's Gary Frank Superman when he's working with Jones.
Right.
And I'm so glad it is, because I think I love that you get that voice in there, and I think it adds something to the book.
Yeah, and like, you know, it'll be interesting to see because like obviously, not obviously, it seems as though Ozymandias is going to be playing Superman against Dr. Manhattan, like trying to take care of a problem he doesn't seem to be able to fix, which would be Dr. Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? And Superman can be emotional, and like maybe that is what John saw. At the end of the day, typically his cooler head does end up prevailing to some degree.
Yeah.
At least in the Superman that he is hearkening to, unless he's gonna, spin the world back in time.
Right, which I doubt it'll happen, but I wouldn't put it past them. But there's a lot of great backups in this.
There is. This actually like reinvigorated my like interest.
Yeah, because usually it was so dense and boring. I was like, I don't care about any of the backup stuff. But this was cool, mostly because like all Americans, I only read the headlines. But the headlines are great, and the way that they like graphically set up the newspapers is really fun and cool.
Right, and like the newspapers from different areas. And like
how they handled the crisis. Of course, the Daily Planet, the focus is Superman is missing.
Yeah.
And let's get to the bottom of what happened.
Right.
As opposed to everybody else just sensationalizing the idea that Superman attacked them.
Absolutely.
Great issue. I loved it. And I think, I think if any book was going to reinvigorate people's enthusiasm for the series, it's going to be this one.
Yeah, this issue. And it's funny. It's like you kind of need to know what happened in the other issues, but like if you haven't, like you could possibly pick this up and figure out things as you go away if you fell off of it and you want to just kind of see some more of like what you originally had come for, which is Superman, Dr. Manhattan.
And them coming at odds with you.
Yeah.
Kyle Johnson, happy anniversary. So happy for you guys.
Thank you so much.
And are you ready for Tomasi to take over Detective Comics? Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
He's my favorite writer and so underrated. Valentino G, DC should put out Baby Boombastis plush toys. Way to lose money, DC.
I
Also-
agree.
Also, happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. Aaron A. Hey, Sound Tiffany, great show as usual. Bendis
Thank
Man of
you.
Steel. Buy, rent from the library, watch the back issues, which I know is coming, or never touch it. The Man of Steel series is a waste of money. We will do it on back issues one day. But I'm told by everyone that I'm wrong about Bendis' run on Superman. That he is doing a transcendental job. He's doing such an amazing job that, like, they've never read a better Superman dual series, Action Comics and Superman. They're both phenomenal, great books. I've never seen the character brought to better and higher heights.
Okay.
I'm glad that you're enjoying the book. No thanks. But Man of Steel, I think we can all agree that book was a waste of time.
Okay, well, I was going to say I'm all for the make your own decision, but hey, look, if you don't have a lot of money, the idea of renting it from the library is a great idea. It really is a very good idea, because then you can be the judge for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I did forget that another book came out.
Oh, yeah.
The Dreaming?
Yeah, The Dreaming, right.
Simon Spurrier with art by Bilquis Evely.
Yes.
I'm going to go really fast.
Please.
This issue, I liked it. I liked the book so far. This issue, I'm super excited for where this series is going now. I can't wait to see the reveal of what has been going on with the gallery and something new being birthed forth. Essentially, we've left it with Judge Gallows. He has basically turned the Dreaming into a totalitarian state. Nothing can come in without him knowing about it. Nothing can go out. We're talking barbed wire. We're talking fences. We're talking guards. The whole nine, right? And he's also making a sort of display of his power, having the Helm of Dream by taking one of the blanks, Zig, who had a personality and a costume, the whole thing, and he's going to kill him. Now, it's hard to kill a dream, although those of us who live in the working world might say that's not true. But it can be reclaimed, it can go into the black chest, but he wants to truly kill it, so he acquires something called Baku, which is actually from Japanese mythology. It is actually an eater of dreams, a destroyer of dreams.
That's a callback.
It is a callback to Dream Hunters, which is a book that Gaiman did. It's a very Japanese-oriented story. But essentially he uses that, he kills Zig, and it's just it would be a shame if anyone else had to have this happen to you. Because don't forget, I'm in charge. I got the helmets right here.
Yeah.
So then, Lucien starts hatching a plot to try to resolve this, even though he's losing his mind and his ability to remember things. And he uses Dora, who is having her own little freak out because in the last issue she was told that she's not real and has a real problem with that and can't get over it. He gets her kind of to snap out of that. Actually, I think Matthew ends up doing that. But Lucien takes Judge Gallows into the gallery because he's just hey, look, I totally get it. You're in charge. It's totally fine. There's only really a couple of things that could really stop you at this point, and it would be the Endless, the other Endless. And he kind of explains to them, and he's just well, they haven't shown up yet. And he's no, but I tried to call them because, I had a concern. And so he's you might want to parlay with them, essentially. So he attempts to call Destiny, and he's oh, you got to use both hands for that.
Right.
So he puts the helm down, tries to call him. Dora shows up, turns into a crazy monster, pins Gallows, and Lucien grabs the helm. And then Dora grabs Lucien, and since she can hop through dimensions, or realms, she pulls him out, and they go to the realm of destruction, who is, of course, the Endless who has left.
Yes.
So he's not, listen, what's his face?
Dream?
Daniel Hall isn't the first one to have quit. He's just a real wuss about it. So I'm interested to see what's going on with that. We also find out that Kane discovered that three-dimensional shape. He's been studying it with Abel, and when Abel fell into the crack, pushed by his brother because Kane constantly kills Abel. Yes. He comes back out and he doesn't have a stutter anymore. He used to stutter. He was an idiot. Kind of. Yeah. Now he's totally with it, in control, in charge of things. And Kane's I'll have none of this. And he marches himself down there, and he meets this disembodied voice.
Yes.
Who hasn't been born yet. And clearly it's whatever is growing and coming into the gallery. A new frame into the gallery. So
new Endless.
I don't know. That's what I was assuming was going to happen. I thought it was going to be Dora, and I'm glad it seemingly is not going that way. So excited to see where this is going. Again, if you are new to Sandman and just kind of want to jump in something where maybe you don't have to, maybe you're reading through the other Sandman novels. This isn't really ruining anything for those.
No.
So if you just want to be in the world of the dreaming, go for it.
Yeah. Jumping into the super chats again.
Yeah, sorry.
Tevi is saying Crime Syndicate alive with John Superboy Mr. Oz. Yep. If you read the upcoming Bendis Superman book, that's happening.
Right.
John Bobbitt, wow, sorry for your loss. Happy anniversary, guys. You both hit the jackpot, Tigers. Can't wait to see how he ultimately impacts the other books. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
But also, hey, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the kindness.
This is really nice.
Sorry for the old joke. That sucks. But yeah, so let's jump into some recommendations.
Yeah.
Despite my lukewarm reaction to this series, Marvel Knights number 4 of 6 comes out. I was gonna recommend it, but it's like really bad. The big last page reveal of the last issue is they're gonna add their final member of the Marvel Knights, and it's Black Panther because he's really popular. Let's put him in the book. So yeah, pick that up if you want.
Sure.
Extermination number 5, the last issue, comes out from this miniseries.
Really?
Yes. I don't really enjoy the Uncanny X-Men series. I think it's kind of like true to form X-Men, but like in that kind of like I can't get into it kind of way.
Okay.
But I really enjoy this series, and I think it's a great way to like get rid of the young X-Men.
Sure.
And that's gonna be fantastic.
Okay.
So check it out. It's also Pepe Larraz's art is great. Amazing Spider-Man number 12 comes out, and it looks like it's a lot of fun, and thankfully we may get the reveal of who like Bandage Centipede person is.
Whoa!
It's probably Carly Cooper.
I wait with bated breath.
Mm-hmm. For her over-designed
No, the
costume.
only reason I say that is because it's like, it's gross. Like,
It is gross.
centipede thing.
Yeah.
bleh,
But
bleh,
my
bleh,
guess
bleh.
is it's Carly Cooper. I noticed that in the last issue, they were complaining that Peter gave Black Cat his identity, and they say they call them Pete when they're like yelling at Peter.
Okay.
And when Carly first shows up back in this book, she refers to him as Pete when she's talking to Mary Jane, and she clearly has a chip on her shoulder. And we don't get into like why she got like what she did with her goblin powers.
Right.
And also, Spider-Man didn't reveal his identity to her. She found it out.
Yeah.
So
All right.
that's that.
Okay.
Also, what's it called? Doom Patrol. Oh, I'm sorry, that's your recommendation.
It is it because trust me.
Well, if you
next
want.
week is going to buy money.
Yeah.
Goodbye, money.
By the way, there's going to be an omnibus hardcover for Super Sons.
Oh,
Hey, Tevye.
wow.
It's going to be $75. So save up your coins,
Or
Tevye.
put it on your holiday wish list.
That's
everybody.
right. But the entire run of Super Sons, which also includes the annual, Superman 10 through 11, Teen Titans 15, Super Sons, the Dino Mutt special, and the DC Rebirth Holiday Special story, which features them.
It also Superman 37 and 38
That's
as well.
right. All that stuff is going to be in this huge omnibus. So if you love Super Sons and you want like a definitive collection of the series, go check it out.
Wow. Yeah, man. That's a way to tell them that you liked it. So for me, this is going to be a costly week for me.
Okay.
Justice League Dark number 6 is coming out. We will be dealing with Blue Devil. Bless you. Look at that. Made him sneeze. He's sneezing at me now.
Yeah.
Detective Champ Blue Devil.
That's right.
I am.
And he's like the ruler of a realm,
really
and he's
excited to see Blue Devil be relevant.
Yeah. Let me go first.
Remember when I mentioned Mark Miller and I was like, the last book I read was Reborn. I'm a liar. Timestamp that. Liar.
Mm-hmm.
Magic Order is the last book I read, which I love, and issue 5 is finally coming out. I feel like it's been forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Mark Miller, Olivia Coipel, just incredible magical story. If you're looking for one, I cannot recommend that enough. It's a mini series, basically, or like a shorter series, whatever you want to call it. It's only 6 issues. It's the penultimate issue.
Yeah.
I like using that word whenever I can.
So
Those of you...
Yeah.
Oh, what? Okay.
Oh, it's the second to last issue then?
Yes. Those of you who are looking for a supernatural sci-fi romp, look no further than Outer Darkness number 2. I read the first one. It was the one that kind of looks like Binturong.
Yeah.
But very much not it. But I had a lot of fun with this, so I'm definitely going to be checking out the second issue. From Marvel, Defenders, Doctor Strange, number 1 is coming out. So I get a little more strange over there. It's by Jerry Dugan, Greg Smallwood, and Ron Garney.
Yeah.
I'm going to check this out. I don't know what to expect from it, and so I will be talking about it next time.
Totally.
And then finally, Mr. and Mrs. X, number 6 is coming out. They're back, and they're having a little party by Kelly Thompson and Oscar Bazaldua. So, just saying.
Yeah.
I will have no money.
What about Defender's Best Defense number 1 from Al Ewing
Is
And
that not the same as...
It's more of the same. The Lost Atlanteans, The Train, The Bedsheet Man, Dead Steve, The Stock Exchange of Souls. In fact, it makes enough sense to destroy our entire solar
Wait,
system.
that's not the same as Defenders Doctor Strange #1?
No, there's 2 Defenders books that
That's
both
coming
feature
out on
Doctor
the
Strange.
19th. So next week is the 12th.
Oh, yeah. That's weird. Why did it give that to me?
But
Okay.
so does that.
Ah, well.
A lot of your books might have been for the 12th, for the 19th.
Yeah. Well, I went to this week, so...
Scroll up. Yeah.
Yep. No, I clicked on this week.
Well, Harry, how about
I
instead...
hate the comics list. At comics
So
list, you
everything
suck.
Sal said is wrong.
Yep. Cool.
Instead, Batman Damned #2 will be coming out this week, which I'm going to pick up, if nothing else, to see.
We're going to try to pick it up if it doesn't sell out immediately.
I really would like to see this story continue.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to see where... I like the story as it was. I know it wasn't everyone's cup of tea,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of controversy.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it doesn't hurt too much from it, but we'll see. I mean, like, I know it's a spot of contention for the creators of that book. The Batman Who Laughs #1 is coming out this week. It's one of 6. This is a Snyder Jock venture.
Yes.
I think it's an excellent... I love that team.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a huge, like, Batman Who Laughs fan, but I do love when Snyder and Jock work together. So at the very least, I definitely want to pick up.
Snyder's definitely been pitching that book.
He has a lot. Not like, overly so, but like, it's, definitely. Let's see. What other things?
Fantastic Four Wedding Special #1 comes out, which
Oh.
features the wedding of Ben Grimm and Alicia Masters. Looks like a lot of fun. It's very cute.
That's adorable. I look forward to, like, his vows.
Yeah.
It's Sovereign time.
Of course, the Thing is also Jewish, so it's going to be cute to see.
Right. Just in time for Spider-Verse, those who hear Miles Morales #1. Miles Morales Spider-Man #1 is coming out as well, just in time. Unless you saw the advance showing,
which
like
we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid and Ahmed taking over. Hopefully it'll be good. I hear good things about his plan.
Hey, like I said, like, there is a huge love for Miles Morales, so hopefully he gets his due.
Yeah. Plus his Black Bolt series was apparently, like, critically acclaimed, and so, Miles Morales needs a good, strong writer.
There you go. Were you reading Black Order?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was just asking if you were reading Black Order.
No.
Well then, never mind. Are you serious?
What?
Oh, I just was like, there's a Marvel premiere graphic novel coming out called Cloak and Dagger Shades of Grey.
Oh.
How many of them? I don't know.
I don't know. Click on it.
No. No, I won't do it.
No.
But there you go. That's what I found that Sal might be interested in.
I also looked at it, and it's,
For me, I'm telling you, it's just...
Yeah, it's going to be a very costly week.
For me, it wasn't bad this week.
No.
I guess I read a lot, though.
I read a lot, too. So it's, hopefully we read enough for you to be satisfied with this episode.
Right?
You know what? I'm going to look at that Cloak and Dagger book now.
Don't do it. Oh, for those of you who are thinking about or haven't had a chance to see Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, it's the Dennis Hopeless digital series.
Oh. Go check it out. For us, we enjoyed it. First, quarter of the movie, to me, was a little weak. It was a little slower. But there were 3 directors, and I'm wondering if the first director wasn't the best.
Yeah, I don't think it was a collaborative effort. I think it was more like, you get this part, I get this part.
I don't know.
And he
Who
gets
knows?
the other part.
But, inevitably, the movie really picked up, and, because I like Miles, I like the heart of Miles, and it's just the beginning part was a little muddled.
A little much, yeah.
A little muddled, and they were really hitting home their new animation style, and inevitably they just kind of evened it out.
Yeah.
And it's really fun.
Yeah, they took the edge off of that animation. It was funny.
Yeah. Also, they play Santa Almost Fire in it, so that's hilarious.
It's pretty great
for me, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Kevin Myers, what's a seminal book you think is overrated? Real quick, The Joker by Brian Azzarello.
Off the top of my head, but if I do, I will. But I really
Kevin Fong Do, regards from Calgary, Alberta.
Thank you
very much. My question is, should the Earth One line of comics be relabeled into Black Label, or should it be kept separate? No, keep it separate.
Yeah.
Don't muddle the Black Label line. It's already a mess and it's already a waste. So don't bother.
Yeah.
keep Earth 1 the way it is.
Right.
Hal's so happy 1-year anniversary,
Thank you
and
so
Red Dead
much.
2 is epic. It is epic. We've
It
been
is.
enjoying it.
I have a great time in that game.
Yeah.
I have a very specific strategy that involves saying hello and hey, mister, to everyone I can to get good karma, and then I lasso people and drag them into rivers to drown.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome to watch.
That's like this is like the video they're gonna pull up if I ever commit a crime.
Right? Well, what about this thing? It
But
matches.
that's a video game.
Yeah. Tim Mickelday's smiley face, also happy anniversary.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Tim.
much.
And Artie Pavlov, Uncanny Book is not good, but I feel like because of Rosenberg, it's a poor fit for X-Books. Red was exactly what modern X-Men should be, I think. I don't think you're wrong. I think a lot of people would agree with you. Although I think a lot of people like Black as well. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not into it. X-Men needs a great artist. You need to have people talking about the art because that's how X-Men became a household franchise. And Tales from Island Z, 1 Strange, 1 Hulk, 1 Surfer, 1 Namor, and 1 Defenders, the best Defenders book, all within this month.
The best defense books all within this one.
Defense, yes.
Yeah, we are super safe and super defended, everybody.
That's right.
So yeah,
So
it's fine.
It's gonna be awesome.
Don't worry about it.
Right? Yeah. Do not worry about it. It's going to be great. But we want to thank you all so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
And for watching this episode.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you guys next week with another episode, right? We're not doing anything. We should be free.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So if you want to see us go more in depth with Spider-Verse, we will in the future with a separate episode.
Yeah. Why not?
But we'll see you guys then. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us. And by the way, the new episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Amalgam episode just came out. Go give it some love and check it out because it was a lot of work.
It was.
But that's it. So catch you guys later. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
Bye.
Bye, guys.